of escaping the wind. Ella wrestled the steering wheel hard to windward, the rudder fighting her every turn. Damn, how could she have been so reckless, so unobservant? Storms like this didn't just develop out of nowhere. A sailor never trusted the weatherman over her own eyes and ears. How long had she been kneeling on the deck, giving in to her woe-is-me routine anyway? And here she was, in the literal eye of a storm, sailing single-handed without life jacket or tether on. She locked the wheel in place. At least she could remedy that problem. Ella reached for an orange vest and slipped her arms through the holds. A final glance at her instruments revealed 40-knot winds now. Dread threatened to swamp her. She disconnected the electronics, leaving only the compass to guide her. Her mast was a 40-foot lightning rod, so she did what little she could to combat the likelihood of a strike. The windward course was a short-lived pursuit, as the wind direction changed again and again. Eyes on the compass, she adjusted to the wind as best she could. She couldn't see squat through the deluge, and the hovering gray sheets of rain and spray in 6-foot waves obscured the horizon. She'd have to ride it out. With shaking, bone-cold fingers, she connected the bottom of the 3 buckles on her vest. Small clicks sounded from overhead, got louder, more frequent. Hail pelted down the size of dimes, then nickels. Ella crouched against the wheel and shielded her head with her hands and arms. The falling ice ripped into the plastic of her jacket and bit into her knuckles. Thunder crashed right above her, and the storm-darkened sky exploded in ferocious jags of electricity. Rain and hail lashed her body, and wind and waves battered her ship like it had a personal vendetta to settle. With her, a tremendous wave crested over the starboard side, shoving her head against the metal spoke of the wheel. Spots burst across her vision. She cried out, the sound swallowed by the wind. When she could focus again, her gaze settled on the lidless cremation urn wedged 4 of the wheel pedestal. Marcus. What she wouldn't do to have him with her. She reached down the huge wheel to grab the container, just grasping for something, anything to make her feel less alone. She couldn't reach. Shifting her hold on the wheel, she stretched, her fingers straining, yearning to feel the cold brass. Not quite. She lunged for the urn, grabbed it up, and hugged it to her chest. Thunder and lightning blasted the sky above her. A wall of wind shoved at the side of the sailboat. It lurched, spun. An ominous crack reverberated from below. A wave pounded Ella's shoulders and back, flattening her atop the urn onto the deck of the cockpit, holding her hostage with its watery weight. Seawater strangled her, stole her breath, and receded. The boat reared over a peaked wave and bucked. Ella slid into a freefall. Not releasing her death grip on the urn, Ella's right hand shot out and clutched the steel backstay. The ligaments of her shoulder wrenched apart in a sickening audible pop, just as her lower body whipped over the transom and hit the frigid water. The jolt stole her scream, allowed her only to moan long and low. Icy wetness soaked through her heavy clothes, and the drag tugged and pulled at her destroyed joint. Triple bolts of lightning illuminated the gunmetal sky in quick succession. Shaking nonstop from cold and pain and adrenaline, Ella stared up at her hand clutching the metal cable. One strike, and she'd be done. Her mind laid out the choices. Ship or sea, urn or ship, drown or fry, life or death. A wave swamped her, and another. She choked and gagged. The next slammed her head against the fiberglass transom. Her hands flew open from the impact. She plunged into the storm-tortured water, sucked down nauseating mouthfuls. Her body whipped feet overhead, side to side, impossible to determine which way was up. The violent churning of the sea ripped the life jacket off one arm, but the orange padding held just enough to finally guide her head to the surface. Despite her daze, survival instincts had her gulping oxygen, precious oxygen. Her successful fight against the urge to vomit left her shuddering, the sour bile almost a welcome respite from the cold salt. No matter, the next cresting wave forced her to drink more. Panic jolted through her body, shook the drunken haze from her mind. Kicking and paddling, she spun around and around.